Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into what you might call a biological superpower. We're going to explore how India, a country with just a tiny fraction of the world's land, became a sanctuary for a massive portion of all life on Earth. So let's just start with a number that's kind of hard to wrap your head around. A full 8% of all recorded species on the entire planet call India home. That is an absolutely staggering amount of biodiversity. And here's what makes that 8% even more incredible. All of that life, all of that diversity, is packed into just 2.4% of the world's land area. I mean, think about that. It's an extraordinary, almost unbelievable concentration of life. So you have to ask, how did this happen? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break it all down. We'll get into what megadiversity really means, check out the unique landscapes that make it possible, meet some of the species that are unique to India, and, importantly, look at the race to protect this global treasure. Okay, so what does it actually mean to be a megadiverse country? You know, it's one of those official-sounding terms, but it's a designation that goes way beyond just having a lot of different plants and animals. Right, so the term is reserved for a pretty small group of nations that basically hold most of the world's biological cards. And the real key here is the number of endemic species. We're talking about life that evolved here and literally cannot be found anywhere else on the planet. And that puts India in a very, very exclusive club. There are only 17 of these nations in the whole world. And, a status like that, well, it's not just a fancy title. It comes with a massive global responsibility for safeguarding a huge piece of all life on Earth. So, what are the secret ingredients for this incredible biodiversity? Well, it really all starts with the land itself, the country's unique and incredibly varied geography. How does one place get so lucky?
Well, the answer is written right into the landscape. India has this incredible physical variety, and it's all supercharged by a powerful monsoonal climate. This combo creates a stunning mosaic of different habitats, from the highest mountains on Earth to deserts and deep-sea coral reefs. It's got it all.
In fact, this diversity is so concentrated that parts of India fall into 4 of the world's 36 biodiversity hotspots. And you should think of these hotspots as the planet's ecological emergency rooms. They're places that are both unbelievably rich in life and under extreme threat, which makes saving them a top priority for everyone.
The Western Ghats are a perfect case study of how this works. You've got this unique mix of heavy rain, rugged mountains, and being isolated for millions of years. It's basically created an evolutionary cradle, a workshop for nature, allowing all these unique species of frogs, lizards, and plants to evolve and thrive here, and only here.
Okay, let's zoom in and put some actual numbers on this natural heritage, because the sheer scale of life we're talking about here, it is truly mind-boggling.
I mean, just look at these numbers. We're talking about over 55,000 species of plants and over 100,000 species of animals. And that's just what we've documented so far. The really wild part? This isn't a closed book. Scientists are still out there discovering brand new species every single year. And if you break it down, no matter how you slice it, India consistently ranks near the very top. Whether you're talking about mammals, birds, or reptiles, its contribution to the planet's biodiversity is just immense. It's a true global heavyweight.
And remember that word we talked about, endemic? Well, here's where it really hits home. A huge chunk of this life is found nowhere else on Earth. About a third of its plants and more than a quarter of its animals are totally unique to India. That is what elevates its conservation from a national issue to a global responsibility.
But, and you knew there had to be a but, this incredible abundance of life, this totally irreplaceable treasure, well, it's fragile. And as you can probably guess, it's facing some serious and growing pressures.
It's really a domino effect. You have pressures like habitat destruction for cities and farms, pollution, and the massive, overarching threat of climate change. And all of that creates a cascade of negative impacts, directly threatening the survival of countless species and the health of the ecosystems they depend on. So, when you're faced with threats like that, what do? Well, India has responded with a really comprehensive, multi-pronged strategy to protect its natural heritage.
The whole effort really starts with a strong legal foundation. Over decades, India has built a pretty robust framework of laws, like these key ones you see here, that are designed specifically to protect wildlife, conserve forests, and manage biodiversity.
And those laws support a much bigger strategy. So yes, it means setting aside protected areas like national parks, but it also means partnering with local communities, using cutting-edge science with tools like gene banks, and thinking big, planning at a landscape level to connect habitats with wildlife corridors.
And I really want to emphasize this point about the local communities because it is absolutely key. There's this growing understanding that conservation just works better when it includes and empowers the people who actually live alongside this biodiversity. Their traditional knowledge, when you combine it with modern science, is an incredibly powerful tool.
Okay, let's zoom out one last time. Why does protecting India's biodiversity matter to every single one of us, no matter where we happen to live on this planet?
Well, it's because what happens in India's ecosystems has direct global consequences. What happens there doesn't stay there. Its forests are critical for regulating our climate. Its amazing genetic diversity holds potential keys for future food security and new medicines. So, simply put, India's success in conservation is directly linked to the health of the entire planet.
So looking forward, the focus is shifting to smarter, more integrated conservation. It's not just about protecting nature inside a park anymore. It's about weaving biodiversity protection into the very fabric of the economy and society, from how we farm to how we build our cities and infrastructure.
And that leaves us with a really critical question. You see, India is the guardian of a vital piece of our planet's living library. So the challenge for India and for the rest of the world is how do we make sure that none of its unique, irreplaceable chapters are erased forever? The future of this global treasure really does depend on a shared commitment to its survival.